from Barbados. So I'm just glad that he's on today, and we will get right into it. So for those who were on this session last week, we just want to do a recap by you helping us. So just one, no, I'm not going to ask for a volunteer. I know how that goes. So I'm going to call on the screen names I see. I'm hoping that the persons are actually there. So up first, we have in alphabetical order based on your display name. Antonia, I'm not sure if you were here last week though, but you could just sound your voice and confirm if you were here last week or not.
No, please.
No, okay. You knew what the session was about last week though?
Also no.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm hoping that you enjoy the part 2, nevertheless. So after here, we go up to, well, I'm assuming Britton still, Wesleyan Holiness is also someone else that's on the call. So I will go over to Kara. No, Adeline, sorry. Adeline, are you there, Adeline?
Yes, please.
You can remember anything from last week? Anything? You were on last week, right?
Yes, please.
So can you remember one thing from last week?
Setting goals.
Setting goals. So Antonia, I hope that you heard that, setting goals. All right. Then after Adeline is Kara. Kara, you can remember one thing from last week?
Smart goals.
Smart goals. Smart goals. You care to, all right, no, that's one thing. So you're cool. Smart goals. How about Shireen?
I remember that our goals should be measurable.
All right. Measurable. Okay. And Margaret?
It should be realistic and within a time.
Whoa, you're getting 2 on me, but thank you. But yeah, so we actually look at goal setting last week, but we used an acronym that some people know already. And that acronym basically spells out the word SMART, but it's also a good double play on words because you would really want your goals to be smart when it comes to goal setting. And I would just go through the acronym. The S, at least when we shared it, we used these meanings for the letters in the acronym, but the S we said was for specific, and we said that it was very important. When I tell you very important, it was very, very important to make your goals specific. We found that if you just have very general and broad goals, then you could achieve them, but only to realize that they don't actually line up with what you were trying to accomplish. So we saw it as important to be specific with your goals. We also have some others joining in, but I will continue on. But welcome to the session. And just like an example about being specific, you might say, well, I am an athlete and I want to improve on my athletics. But that is quite general. So you go in and you go on to maybe a coach, a personal trainer, and you say, well, I want to improve on my athletics. Well, if the trainer is of any quality, he would not allow you to just get away with just saying you want to improve. But just for the case, for this scenario here, just work with me. So you go on and you say, I want to improve. But the trainer work and improve your stamina to the point that you can now run 5 kilometers without stopping. So did you improve as an athlete? Asking a question to my audience here. Did you improve as an athlete? You can know before you couldn't run 5 kilometers without stopping, but now you can run 5 kilometers without stopping. So you improve as an athlete. But the reality is your race that you are in love with and that you want to become very good at, or even be the number one in, is the 100-meter sprint. So although you were and improve your ability, your stamina to be able to run for 5 kilometers without stopping, because that was very general and not specific, and the trainer did help you to improve, you could find that at the end of the day, your goal was so general that you didn't actually improve in your pet race, the race that you wanted to improve in, which is the 100-meter sprint. And training for sprint will be much different than training for distance running. It still will involve running, and at some points in time, the trainings will intersect. But that's just a rough example of why we would need to make sure we are specific with our goals and not just general. After the S, we went to M, and I think I heard it mentioned, measurable. Measurable. You want the goal to be measurable. And important reasons again, why you would want the goal to be measurable is for sure you want to know when you have achieved the goal. And if it isn't measurable, you might have already achieved it, even in a shorter space of time than you anticipated, but you didn't even know because it wasn't really measurable. On the other hand, by it being measurable, you can, if you can begin to get an idea of your progress, not only in terms of improving generally, but in terms of your progress, in terms of how close you are or how far away you are from reaching that goal. So that's why we really would want it to be measurable as well. And the A, I was going to see if we could get one of the persons that came in after to tell me what the A is for. So a person that joined after we've started to go through at the beginning, would you want to give a try at the A?
Achievable?
Yes, achievable. You were here last week as well, so I'm glad. I will tell my my faith youth leaders that persons did remember what they went through. But yeah, achievable. And that is also important because you want to know going in that you actually have a chance of achieving this goal. It might be difficult, might not be easy, but you want to know going in that it can be achieved, and not generally speaking, not like generally speaking, but it can be achieved by you, right? So this is your SMART goal. So it's not the goal for your brother or your sister or your friend. It is your goal, even if they have the same goal. But you must believe that it is achievable by you, And we go to the R. Also for the achievable, some people also use attainable, but we still use achievable. But yeah, we go to the R. Someone else that came in. Want to give it a try, the R? All right, I'll go for it then. Yeah. She's pardon? Realistic.
Somebody put this in the chat. Yeah, something in the chat. Yes.
Realistic is also one. That's not the one that we use though for our R, but that's the one that some people use for their R. But what we found was that achievable and realistic kind of work close together. So if it isn't achievable, you might say it isn't realistic, right? Or if it isn't realistic, you might say it isn't achievable. So we don't necessarily work the two of those together. When we use achievable, we then go and we use relevant. Yes, Nathan. And Nathan wasn't even here last week. But yes, right. And also, yes, someone has relative. But we use relevant. And you just in case, I was gonna say you you don't just want to go and when I say relevant, we also mean relevant to the person setting the goal. It really needs to be relevant. Because at the end of the day, achieving a goal that wasn't relevant, more than likely, it won't be a total waste of time because you more likely would have achieved something and there are benefits psychologically and physically to when you achieve your goal or a goal. But if it isn't relevant, it kind of, I don't want to waste time, but it kind of did not give you the best benefit or the maximum returns for the energy, the effort, and the time that you put into achieving that goal. And usually, very often, a goal that you have set is usually a stepping stone to something bigger than that goal. Okay. So thank you. And the T, I think Margaret kind of touched on the T, but the T that we have that we use time bound or timed. Meaning don't leave the goal just open-ended. Try to assess the realistic time it would need to achieve this goal and then set that time. But to just leave it open, I will save such and such dollars, and just to leave it open like that. I mean, like, yeah, you might eventually achieve it, but without the time, you could then take a lot longer than if you really had a timeline where you would then be more focused and more disciplined and more pushed towards reaching that timeline. And that also helps with in terms of the well, I want to get into, yes, I mentioned it. No, well, that also helps with when you have persons to keep you accountable as well. Because they know by such and such date is when you wanted to achieve that goal, or by such and such year. So as they see the date is approaching, they might shout you and ask you, like, what's going on? I haven't heard about where you are, and they might ask you some questions. So that's the smart goals, setting smart goals and using the acronym SMART. So at this point in time, I will just pause for any comments or questions based on last week's session. Comments or questions based on last week's session. Margaret.
Yes.
Yes. In terms of the streaming, does that allow for questions to come in as well?
Yeah, you mean?
As in, yeah. So if
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So if you see questions coming in, you could also, I will be willing to address those during this session one time.
Okay. Oh,
As in, you could pause me rather than wait until the end.
okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I think Shireen is saying something that she would keep track. I'm just trying to see what Shireen is saying. Much.
Okay, she's speaking in terms of the last point.
It's good to have good to have accountability. Okay.
Yes.
Is it necessary to write down your goals?
Necessary. Whoa. The answer I would give is absolutely yes, right? However, some people might beg to differ, right? And this I mean, I'm thinking that you mean actually write, as in write, but they say, in terms of some research claim that in writing, the act of writing, called like writing out things, actually cause things to stick, or to stick a little deeper or go a little deeper, the act of writing. So for some people, they might say, well, I ain't gonna actually write it out. I can remember it and I can got it in my head. And they might actually have a good enough memory that they actually can remember it like exactly word for word. And even if you ask them like 2 weeks down the road, they can, quote it back exactly. But the act of writing it out, I haven't like done it as my own scientific study, but they claim that that has benefits actually writing it out. And those who are familiar with scripture, I think I see Shireen has something posted in the chat that can also be used in that context. Write the vision and make it plain, but the writing it out. I will also read Nathan's comment or respond to it. Okay, all right, I will come to that after Nathan, but in terms of writing it out, what that will look like in our current modern times might be different, because writing it out for a lot of people might be typing it out. So I don't know if the research that was done was actually meaning the act of holding a pen, pencil, and writing, or if it was the act of just being able to note it down. But in our time now, more likely someone would take out a device and type it out. Someone might even take out a device and speak to it, and it would do what you call it, speech to text conversion. So I ain't sure exactly how that will work, but yeah, definitely noting it down will help. It will help. In terms of read what Nathan has in the chat, this is Nathan, quoting Nathan. I sometimes think that actually let me check and make sure my audio is loud, right? And clear. Should have checked that in the beginning.
I'm hearing you fine.
Good. Yeah. I sometimes think that when people say that their goal is to live a good life, that it is virtually impossible to tell, since the definition of a good life isn't clearly set out in stone. So how would you know when you have achieved the goal? So just saying that you live a good life, if we use our SMART acronym as a filter to test this goal to see if it is really a good goal in terms of using that specific acronym, more than likely it would fail, because for one, it isn't specific. And that's what I think Nathan is I think that's what he's asking, or well, that's what he's really commenting on using a question. But yeah, it isn't specific. So for one, you wouldn't know when you achieve it. Then two, you wouldn't, how would persons keep you accountable if you need to be pushing more, or if you need, if you have already accomplished and you really should be celebrating, how would they know? And they really wouldn't. So it wouldn't fit in as a SMART goal, but it still sounds good, to live a good life. Definitely sounds good. Yeah. All right, I want to read. Anybody can remember what? No, yes. Let me see if y'all anybody can remember what I read to y'all at the end of last session, at the end of part 1, and I said we would pick it up in part 2. Anybody can remember, even if you don't remember word for word, the general, the gist of it.
To give us a hint.
All right, I will start by saying this: a dream written down. A dream written down.
Oh,
yes.
Wait, hold on.
I will hold on.
I have it.
Okay, Isabel, go ahead.
Give me a second. Okay. Yeah. A dream written down becomes a goal broken down into steps is a plan, and then a plan backed by action is something.
That is definitely good enough. That's definitely good enough. That's definitely good enough. Thank you so very much. The exact wording I had, and this isn't my own quote or anything. This was a quote that someone sent to me, and it says, "A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action becomes reality." So I'll just read it again for those who that really want to digest it a bit. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action becomes reality. And I just want to take the first part.
A goal broken down into steps
becomes a
becomes-
plan. A
Okay,
plan.
thanks.
Yeah. Just that part, or go on to the rest.
I'm fine. I think she got the
Okay.
rest.
Yeah. So I want to start with the dream part, because more than lately, I mean, we got some very creative persons in this world today and possibly on this call. But more than lately, you are not just setting a goal because you're bored and it's like, I just feel so bored. Let me set a goal. Even if the boredom is what motivate you to set a goal, the goal is usually because you want to achieve some desired outcome, some preferred reality. And you can even just put it into this word, some dream, whether it's a daydream, a night dream, some dream. And more than likely, that is the impetus, the motivation, or the reason why you started to set a goal. Anybody completely disagrees with me, or I pass for now? Give me some feedback, because before you go any further, I don't want to go and I got y'all going with me. That dream might become a nightmare. So anyone disagree? Are we in agreement? Give me a little thumbs up. Give me a little what are the reactions we got here? A little heart, a little applause. All right, yeah, I got a thumbs up there. Yeah. So not can you? So therefore, I am assuming and hoping that although this session was labeled goal setting, and also why I wanted to do it in two parts, is for one, to actually, meet the need of helping with goal setting, but two, to meet what I believe is the bigger and more important need, which is, I will put it this way, goal achievement. So I'm assuming and hoping that persons ain't really trying to get improved on goal setting per se by itself, but persons are more interested in goal achievement, but realizing that goal setting helps me to have a better chance of actually reaching goal achievement. So I can just let that digest for a couple seconds. And I can play a little pondering on this question. Am I really pursuing goal setting, or am I really pursuing goal achievement? Do I just want to get better at goal setting full stop? Or do I want to get better at goal achievement? And I'm going to assume that the majority are on board with me that it is really more about goal achievement. And why is important to, yes, totally, I love it. Well, it's important to to really split that and endorse that is because I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, we have persons on this call and maybe watching on YouTube that have set some of the smartest, I mean like smart as in smart or smart as in using the acronym, smartest goals, but still experience the disappointment of not achieving those goals, which then highlights that, you know what, it really wasn't about just goal setting, it was more about the goal achievement. Because if it was just about goal setting, with these goals and how I followed the acronym and I had it specific, I had it measurable, I had it achievable, I had it relevant, I had it time bound, and you got 100% on that, why do you feel discouraged? Why do you feel might even be like a failure when you didn't achieve the goal? If it was just about goal setting, you got 100% goal setting, 100% perfect smart goal. Nevertheless, you didn't accomplish it and you don't feel all the good. So from there, especially knowing from what I read just now with about the dream, that dream is what we're going after. And even the last part of that little quote is a plan backed by action becomes reality. And that's what you're really trying to do. Get a dream to become reality by using goal setting. That dream becoming reality is what we call goal achievement. So I'm going to now put in the chat and we will go from here and get someone to read it out for me so that you won't just be hearing my voice. Someone who sees what is in the chat.
Five questions you need to answer for successful goal setting. From goal setting to goal achievement.
Yeah. So 5 questions that you need to answer if you really want to talk about successful goal setting. And when we say successful goal setting, we mean that your goals actually move from goal setting to goal achievement. And these 5 questions aren't mine. These are 5 questions I got from a post by Dario Richards from Inspire Leadership Solutions Group. And Dario and his wife, Linda Richards, and also Imran Richards, they came together and used their God-given gifts and their creativity to put together a very good resource in terms of a guided journal called the Take a Name Journal. So this is not I'm not advertising on their behalf, but this is the journey, the journal and the journey that our Common Faith Youth leaders, some of the ones who were on the call last Friday, that they're on using this journal. So these questions that I'm going to put here, they are not mine, and I'm just giving credit to Dario and his post on this exact same topic. So we're going to go to these questions. We're going to just go through them one by one. Once I could get this here done properly on my technology.
See, you should let persons know that these are Barbadians who created this.
Oh, well, yes, I can't take it for granted. Yes, you are correct. These are some of our very own Barbadian, Bajan young people. Not only Barbadian, but they are also young people. And yeah, so thanks for that. So first question, and how Dario puts it, is the first question kind of deals with capacity. And I'll put the question in the chat now, and I'll read it out as well so we can get it. But yeah, it deals with capacity. And the question basically asks, what knowledge and or skills do I need to accomplish this goal? What knowledge and or skills do I need to accomplish this goal? And I want each of us on the call to just think about that question for a couple of seconds. And then I want to hear answers from you. I want to hear feedback from you on that exact question. What knowledge and or skills do I need to accomplish this particular SMART goal so that it will move from just goal setting into goal achievement? All right, you had your seconds to think about it. So now let me get some answers from you. Not that you are answering the question pertaining to your goal, but you're answering the question, why would this be an important question that I need to really begin to dig into and to answer when I'm looking to accomplish my goals? Why? Why would I need to ask myself this question?
Because if, for example, if you want to become such and such, if you want to have a particular profession and you need a particular degree to get it, you're gonna have to enroll yourself in a school so you can get it, because degrees don't just come like that. So
Thank you for that. And I don't want us to approach this as a right or wrong. Anything I'm asking you right now from here onward as a right or wrong situation. So I was right and I was wrong. Because once I ask you, what comes to mind or what do you think about something? From there, once that's what came to your mind or what you thought, then for sure is not a wrong or right situation. But definitely I endorse what you said as well. Also in the chat, we have you need to know what capacity is and how much you yourself can take. I'm going to assume you need to know what capacity is required and how much you yourself can take. Also in the chat, to see if you are even capable of accomplishing the goal, you need to see what is needed to accomplish it. So yeah, so definitely for you to move from goal setting to goal accomplishment, you need to assess and see, like, do I personally at this stage have the capacity? Do I have the knowledge? Do I have the skills needed to make this goal, to make this dream become a reality? And if the answer is no, then you would need to adjust that goal, maybe set a smaller goal to use as a stepping stone to then go after the real goal that you're going after. So yeah, your capacity is very important. And a lot of times you can find yourself setting goals out of emotions. And I'm going to risk saying this one in a youth group, a church youth group environment. You might even set a goal based on feeling that God have called me to do such. And both of what I mentioned is okay, as in setting down the goal, as in writing it down or initially putting it down. But then you got to assess that goal and see your capacity. Then if it's God that called you, then you got an idea where you need to pray about. If it is you set it out in emotions, then after emotions come down, you get to see the reality of what this goal might require, what knowledge it might require, what skills I might need, what resources I might need to accomplish this goal. So that's one question that you definitely need to answer if you are serious about seeing your goal become and actually go from goal setting to becoming goal achieved. Okay, so any other comments or questions based on that number one?
If you if you don't have the knowledge or whatever, that shouldn't be a deterrent though, but that would help your indication what you need to do, right?
Correct. Definitely not a
Okay.
deterrent. It might tell you I need to go and get a little training in this particular. So I realize that it's gonna need this skill here. So before I run after that goal, I need to set some people call it a milestone. Some people might call it a stepping stone of gaining this particular skill or this particular knowledge, and then continue to go after that same goal after getting that knowledge. Or it might be a case now that originally when you were writing it down, you were seeing it as your goal, and really and truly after assessing it and looking at capacity, you realize that it is your goal or your vision, but it requires a team to accomplish it. And your next step now would be to not necessarily you go in and get the skills based on what kind of skills it need, but might be you recruiting, sharing the vision with someone who has that particular skill set, getting them on board, and they come on board to then basically use their skills and their knowledge to help you achieve that goal that you have set. So definitely not a deterrent, but more, I think I saw it but more like a reality check, because the whole purpose of setting the goal is to move that dream into reality. So without doing a reality check, you might remain in dreamland for a lot longer than you were thinking. Yeah. So after capacity, number 2 deals with confidence. And this is the question that Dario said we must look into. Is in chat, so you could take a little read. I will also read it out in a second or two. So after assessing and realizing what capacity is needed, then you really got to look at the confidence now, which you're dealing with the question of why do I believe I can achieve this goal? I realize what the goal is needing, what the goal is requiring, but I need to come to the place where I believe that I can achieve this goal. And I think I heard that earlier when we were going through the SMART goal, that basically, you need to believe, I think it's when we were looking at attainable, achievable. Yeah. But yeah, confidence. Why do I believe I can achieve this goal? And this is also another good question to get you into taking a reality check, because the goal itself might be definitely be achievable, but you gotta come to the place where you're saying, like, not only is this achievable, but I can achieve this as well. So going back to my sprinting analogy at the beginning, running below 10 seconds in a 100-meter is definitely achievable. However, do I, Dean A. Squires, believe that I can achieve this goal? I'm telling you up front, no. So I'm not setting that as a goal. Not at this stage and age. I'm not setting that as a goal. However, running 100-meter in less than 20 seconds, I have more than enough confidence that I can get that done. So I could set that as a goal for myself. But that might not be a good example for me personally. In terms of why would I want to even run 100-meter in less than 20 seconds? Which dream will that help me to accomplish? And unfortunately, the answer is not one of my dreams. So more than likely, I would not be seeking to put the energy, the time into making that a SMART goal for me. But yeah, to anyone on the call who actually might be in a position where you have doubts about if you can achieve this goal. Those doubts will cause your confidence to dip. And sometimes not only dip, but might even a nosedive, like just go down. And I can tell you, as much as you took the time to write it down on paper and in us using the SMART acronym, if your confidence is down, you are in a very demotivated state. Achieving that goal and seeing it become a reality more than likely will not happen. So goal achievement might not happen. So therefore, it is very important, and you might need others to help you with this. Or if you are the kind of person that can practice self-motivation, you can pump yourself up. Yes, I can do this. Actually, this here is one of my cues that I use when I'm coaching youngsters. It wasn't mine originally, but I gained it when I had traveled overseas. They had a gentleman that would always come, like when we were doing something and we were messing up, he would say, focus, focus, focus. And he would always sit here. And they just brought it back with me. So sometimes if I'm coaching back when basketball was playing, competitive, but any basketball, and my guys see me do like this, I'm telling it, they know what they automatically know what it means. They got to focus, and we got to focus so we could achieve something. So that usually being reminded by someone can cause your confidence level to raise, and then you can go after it. So my guy, Nathan, that is on, Nathan is actually from, I think, I can't remember if I mentioned it, but he's from Belize. He has a very impressive personal life goal. I won't go into details. Is a goal not achieved by many, especially in the Caribbean region that I know of, but is a goal nevertheless. And Nathan, has to believe that he can achieve this goal. Fortunately, because of the internet and whatever the case may be, there might be persons living across in other regions of the world who have accomplished that goal by age 35, and therefore he can use them as a motivation. But at some point in time, that motivation or that confidence in it being achieved by others need to come to the place where I believe I can achieve this goal. I got to believe it. So for those who might have set some goals and didn't see them come to pass, already two of these questions that we have touched on might have helped you to realize, oh, I think I see where I fell down. Yeah, definitely. That one speaks to me. Right. So we want to go on to number 3.
Before you go, may I
Yeah.
ask a
Well,
question? I know
yes, definitely.
when we say focus, how can you focus? Because I mean, you're in a match and you're down 10 points. And you tell your team member, focus, 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 and the pressure is, I am down, we're losing. How do you start to shift the 10 down to say, hey, I gotta get score these points. I gotta get a 3-pointer or whatever. How do you start to do that?
Usually in that context, usually the focus is for them a cue, because usually it can be after something happened. And that's a cue for them to take their minds back to practice sessions when we were either in that exact scenario, going through it as like a simulation, and what we would do if that happened. Or it takes them back to practice when they were successful at performing a particular action or routine. And therefore, although, and I can use this, like using basketball scenario, I hope it connects well with at least persons, but shooting, well, wanting to score the basketball. So you are at practice and you practice certain things in terms of your technique and everything. But one of the things usually your practice is where you look at in terms of aiming at the ring to make your shot. So if we got a person who's missing his shots, over and over and maybe hitting what we would call the back of the rim, right? And he shoots like his, let me call it about his 10th shot, and he's 0 from 10. All 10 shots at points in the game missed. So he's really down. He feels like, oh, I can't shoot. However, from the time I go and say, focus, 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 he connects that action to something from back at practice. Now, that something might be, he knows that means don't aim at the back of the ring, look at the front of the rim and shoot over there. So in that one thing, his mind goes back to that, connects with it, and kind of brings him back to the reality of the game. And all this happening in like a split second, and bring him back to the reality of the game, but with a motivated and a more confident vibe and attitude, because he knows at practice, when I focus, 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 I just usually score my next 2 to 3 shots. No, the reality is after focus, 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 he might shoot the next shot and still miss. That's the reality. But you can be sure when he was taking that next shot, it was with more confidence than when he was originally, the state he was in originally, when it was before he said focus, focus, focus. But the focus don't be just, the focus need to have a connection to something specific, because if it's many things happening all at the same time, which one do I adjust, coach? Which one do I adjust? So if it's a scenario that for me needs even more specific, because he's doing so many things that are a little off on his shot, I mean, say focus, 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 follow all the way through. So that one was to bring him back away from what is happening in his current reality that, you know, has him going down. This brings him back or brings him from there. And then I give him another instruction or another signal that do a cue that also not only brings him from where he is now, but then puts him at a place where he's going to be more confident for his next shot. So I hope that scenario
Yeah,
worked.
yeah, okay.
pretty
Because you
okay
know,
for you.
sometimes that you fail an exam, you fail it twice, you fail it 3 times, and you know, you need to get yourself up, you know, that you can do it.
Yeah,
That was just, yeah. Okay, thanks.
yeah, no problem at all. So we're going on to number 3. And we are looking at this one. And you know what? With his creativity, Dario has all of them basically coming with the letter C. So he had at the beginning, you know, capacity, then confidence. I don't know if you're going to get this one without the explanation, but he has chunk. And you could take a couple seconds to read it silently, and then I would read it out. Yeah, chunk. You know, a chunk, like a chunk of something. And basically, if you get a chunk of something, it can still be broken up into smaller pieces. So what are the smaller steps and milestones I need to identify to help me track my progress? If you just look at the end goal, sometimes it could be so intimidating. It could be so intimidating. Again, use the one with the exams just now. I have how many ever credits I need to accomplish to get, or I need such number of A's to get my grade point average up to something. I mean, you look at that, that is so intimidating. How am I gonna get 6 A's this semester? How am I gonna get to do that? Life is not gonna stop for me and say, well, okay, all other aspects of your life are gonna pause now and allow you to just study, and that's all you're gonna do. No. But how can I get all these A's? At the end of the day, if we break it down, each course is such and such percent in the term, in the semester, final exam, such and such percent midterm assignments and whatever. So if I can get these midterms or these group assignments or whatever, that's gonna send me into the final exam with a percentage that's here, which means that all I need to do, not trying to make light of it, but all I need to do now is get such and such. And therefore, I do that with each of my courses. And what seemed like a big chunk, all of a sudden becomes these more nibble-sized, bite-sized, digestible-sized things that I would need to do to accomplish that big goal. So when you are looking at your goal setting and you want it to become a reality, sometimes you might need to look at the goal itself and look for the smaller steps, the smaller milestones that you would need to identify to help you keep track of that progress, knowing that, yes, I am on point to accomplish it. If though you realize something on the smaller steps, you stumble on it, you stumble on that smaller step, you know that I got to put even a greater effort to still be able to meet the final goal that I have. How does that sound for you? Any feedback on that one or any questions? All right, good to go. Going on to number 4, another C, and this one is celebrate. Celebrate. How will I celebrate the wins, the big ones, not only the big ones though, but the small wins on the journey? So this isn't celebrate the end goal or at the end, celebrate on the journey for those small steps, those smaller milestones. I'm telling you, this is sometimes an area that we oftentimes neglect, not understanding how it impacts our final goal that we're going after. That celebration kind of gets you hyped, gets you ready to push on. And especially if you have other persons involved in this journey with you, them celebrating with you, you know, it's like, yes, you accomplished it. You got the A in subject number 1. Just course number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to go. But then you get that A in number 2 and you celebrate that. Not like crazy celebration where you're gonna become so confident. Now I just need to lay back and go on cruise control. No. Like you're celebrating those little victories, celebrating those little milestones, celebrating those steps. And that causes you to, you know, ask that question, meaning that set it out from the beginning. So I'm trying to accomplish this, but if I can only get here, I know that I'm on the right track. I'm making enough, covering enough ground. I'm going to celebrate here and let that energy from celebrating give me even more motivation, more confidence to go after this next section. And I will celebrate at this milestone as well to push me on to here. And before I know it, you accomplish the final goal, the dream becomes a reality, and that way you have your big Holy Ghost party. Anybody ever try that though? Celebrating a milestone on the way to a goal you had. Any practical examples of that from anyone? I think people do that in dieting. They're gonna go such and such long without eating fast food. And when they reach a certain point, they don't go and eat fast food or don't go and eat. They might give, what you call it now, a cheat meal or a cheat day or something. Although I don't like the terminology, but I get it, you know, because I have reached this far, I'm not going to go back now and eat the fast food or whatever, but I'm going to give myself a little treat, a little snack or whatever that I wouldn't have been eating over the last week or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And the final C is consider. And this one, boy, for sure, is one that we oftentimes don't even consider. So I'm not surprised that he labeled it or termed it consider, but it's in the chat. Consider, what are my solutions for inevitable obstacles that can prevent me from achieving my goal? What are my solutions for inevitable obstacles that can prevent me from achieving my goal. I am not saying anything on that one until I hear some feedback from my audience. So the floor is open.
Suppose there will always be things that will stop you, or things you would probably never think about that will stop you from achieving your goal. One of the things I know, sometimes you have an exam and somebody, a close relative, die, and you find it is so hard to concentrate. You have to find, and if you don't do the exam, it's going to probably take you another year or so. So you have to make some decisions or prepare yourself for that kind of thing, or some adjustments.
Thank you. Anyone else? At least one other person?
Adding on to what Pastor Margaret said, speaking from experience, I had an exam, or well, a practical assessment, and apparently I was nervous enough that it made me feel like throwing up, and I did. So I had to go home and couldn't do the exam. But I didn't feel nervous. But my body was like, nope, you're nervous, go away.
Well, thank you all for those two examples. And the inevitable there, or at least my interpretation of it, is that some sort of obstacle will come. You might not know. And to me, is very important to understand this isn't being pessimistic. This isn't going in expecting failure or expecting difficulty. But this is understanding that it's very possible that some sort of obstacle might come, and having a solution already prepared. Now, the solution might not be specific because you don't know exactly what obstacle might come, but a general, I don't know if you'll call it a solution, but a general strategy for any, and you might be able to group your obstacles into broader categories. And I'm just using a well example. Finances might, according to the goal, might turn out to be a possible obstacle. So you might come up with a solution. You know what? Anything pertaining to finances that come up, if it does come up, this is what I'm going to look to do. Anything pertaining to maybe transportation that come up, this is what I'm going to look to do. Now, I also want to differentiate. This isn't to push you into a state of worry, anxiety, because you're trying to think all the possible obstacles that may come up. All right, I gotta get a solution for each one. Before you know it, you become a nervous wreck, and you don't even move off goal, as we would say. You're just freeze there, going through all the different obstacles, all the many obstacles, and you never actually move. Therefore, in terms of your dream becoming a reality, answer is automatic no. And it was because you were there trying to figure out all the solutions for all the possible obstacles. No. Understanding how I was trying to, assuming that if you understood how I was trying to differentiate, can anyone suggest any general solutions that you could put in, any solution you could put in place, like in a real general way, that you could say this would be a go-to for almost any obstacle that could pop up? I want to learn from you all too.
I would say in your goal, recognize that things will happen. So don't if it blindside you, maybe for a day or whatever, start learning how to recuperate yourself and use what you got to get back on track. Or say, oh, I don't know, yeah, just try not to, if it's like blind you for a day or so, don't let it be a permanent state of sight blinding you. But that's pull it yourself by the boots and recognize, say, you know, I might just have obstacles, but it doesn't mean that I will not, or I might have to extend the timeline or what have you. But don't let it be a deterrent for you, stopping you altogether from reaching that goal. You might have to do some other adjustments.
Okay, thank you. And definitely get where you're coming from. Nathan, I will come to your question in the chat. I also want to, I may give a couple of suggestions. Please don't take me as like the specialist in this area. So that's why I asked you as well, because I believe I can learn from you. But one, having I know if accountability partner is too intimidating a word in our context, but having someone who knows about the goal to me is a good general solution. Whereby if some obstacle comes up and you're tempted to turn back, that person knows, you know, they have an idea about the goal and they're expecting you, rallying with you to accomplish it. And therefore, at that point in time, you know, look, if I turn back now, I know the first thing, you know, when this boy see me at school or see me at church, they can ask me, yeah, you get through with anything yet? And for me to tell them that, you know, I quit just because of whatever the case, usually that alone sometimes. So you, at that stage, you're not doing it maybe for what people might call the quote unquote right reason, but you're still going to press through. And whatever emotions you were going through while pressing through, eventually they might, you know, you might push through them and then you're back on track with the right reason and everything. Also, similar to what Margaret was saying, making up from the start, making up your mind from the start. I can't figure out all the obstacles that might come, but whichever one come, giving up is not an option. Giving up is not an option. For others, you might say, look, regardless of what obstacle comes, I am going to commit that my first response is going to be find someplace quiet, think nothing about the goal itself, and just go and say, Lord, help me. And you might even go, I am going to repeat this 5 things. Lord, help me. And you're going to repeat that. So that by the time you get up, you might be on your literal knees. By the time you get up, the obstacle ain't going away, you know. But the big Goliath that it seemed like at the first time when you heard about it or found out about it, at least it is no longer a big Goliath in your eyes. Still an obstacle, but it's not a big Goliath anymore. And therefore, that still allows you to consider, how can I get around? How can I get over? How can I get through this obstacle? Rather than just immediately giving up and turning back. So those are just a couple general ones that I throw out there. More than likely, there are others that some of you might be thinking of, but haven't shared. But yeah, so I just want to post all 5 of them in the chat now. Compliments of Dario Richards from Inspire Leadership Solutions Group. You know, 5 questions you need to answer for successful goal setting. And by successful goal setting, we mean from getting your goal setting to move to goal achievement. And say 1 is capacity. What knowledge and or skills do I need to accomplish this goal? 2 is confidence. Why do I believe I can achieve this goal? 3 is chunk. What are the smaller steps and milestones I need to identify to help me track my progress? Number 4, celebrate. How will I celebrate the wins, you know, big and small on the journey? And then 5 is consider. what are my solutions for inevitable obstacles that can prevent me from achieving my goal? Yeah. Nathan asks in the chat, what about goals that you question your ability to achieve, but you know are mandatory for you to fulfill? How do you deal with those? All right. The fact, again, just use your wording, the fact that they are mandatory, from my understanding of mandatory, it tells me that you don't got a choice. One way or the next, you don't got a choice about this goal. Some people from here, for the time to hear you don't got a choice, will raise a hand and say, but Dean, you know you do got a choice. But we ain't getting into that. We can just work with this, how the question was that. So you don't have a choice. So if you don't have a choice, it means that somehow whoever have made it mandatory for you either know or believe that you can fulfill this goal. If you have made it mandatory for yourself, I think that you already know that you can accomplish it. However, you are questioning your ability. Whether that's questioning your ability from the start, if you're questioning your ability from the start, it means that rather than setting that as a goal, then going back to what we said when we look at capacity, you need to go back to that step number one. What knowledge and or skills do I need? So from there, that's when you will bring in or answer that question that will help you. But let me say that, for example, you had already done the capacity and you started out and you were fully confident as well. But maybe some obstacles came up, or you're no longer feeling as energized, or whatever the case, or some financial things change in your life or in your resources, and therefore you're now having doubts. You're now having doubts of your ability. You're questioning your ability to achieve. To me, I will use the same things as a loop. Go back to the capacity. Know that my resources have depleted, or know that my resources are at 50% compared to when I first started, or know that I have discovered these other aspects on the journey that I didn't know about when I started, which now present themselves as hurdles or obstacles. Know that I know this. What knowledge and or skills do I need to move from here and still achieve the goal? And then from there, whether it's connecting with persons in terms of other team, treating it as a team project, or pausing the goal. No, I said pausing and not stopping, and use up some time and resources to get yourself trained, equipped, retooled to handle the new things that you have discovered after starting the journey, and then pick back up the goal after you have retooled or gained these skills or knowledge, or whatever the case. So I hope that answers you good enough, Nathan. But that's just a quick put together by myself. Yeah. That's the end of my presentation. We're open to any other questions or comments now. And if none, then back over to you, Pastor Margaret.
Okay, thank you so much, Dean. Nathan, I'm curious to see, is his goal a public goal? I'm curious, or is it a public, or is shareable, or is not shareable? Or he will have
I am very proud of it. But mind you, it is not the goal that you hear from a teenager, but I'm very, very proud of it. I myself really wish that I had that goal when I was.
Oh, he said absolutely private.
Yeah, it's absolutely private accommodation.
Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, but I look forward to him accomplishing that goal, and yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So we
Yeah.
had a really good session. Kara San one session. They had said a good session. And you know what? As we go from day to day, we always have goals that we should make, and we should set standards whatever we're doing, even if it's cooking, quality of food, whatever it is, whether it's a healthy meal, whatever it is, we set standards and we should make sure we keep those standards. And it helps us drive us to being productive, to being excellent, to be excellent at what we do, to be purposeful in what we do. Because, you don't want to say, oh, well, halfway, well, at least I passed the exam. We should really be aiming for as high as we can, or set the goals and aim for it. It makes us a better people, more productive people. So thank you so much for this. Is 2 sessions. Any comments? Any other questions or anything? I found it on the internet. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal, and a goal written down in steps become a plan, and a plan backed up by action makes your dreams reality. So I found it. So this is a statement that requires us to write down, to dream, to have the goals, to have a plan, and to take action. You see the reality of it. So we want to thank you so much. Any questions? Any questions? Anybody invited anybody? I think Nathan was here on behalf of Dean. And I saw Isabel earlier. I don't know if anybody especially invited anybody to this session today. Hear nothing. Hear none. No comments. No nothing. Okay. We want to thank all of you for joining us this evening. Hi, Isabel. Happy that you're joining us as well. We had another Isabel on with us earlier. We have Sister Martin joining us after, and Sister Alder. Thank you for joining our session. And so I'm going to ask Sister Martin to pray for us this evening.
Good evening, everyone. Dean, I got in late, but I can see that it would have been an awesome 2 presentations from the little I gather and the Nathan's interaction with yourself. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you again another time for your goodness, your graciousness unto all of us. Thank you, Father, for Brother Dean. And I am hoping and believing that all that he has imparted to each and every one of us would be instrumental and useful in his deliberations. Father, I'm sure that they would have understand that their dreams must be into goals, and their goals must be written down. And then we have to work them out with a particular strategy to meet them and to make them into reality. So Father, again, thank you for this session. Thank you for each and every one on the platform. Thank you that you're giving us the opportunity that we can share. And thank you because that we could have been somewhere else today, and we are here again in your presence, honoring and looking onto you, the author and finisher of our faith. Father, tonight, bless each and every one of us. Let us rest safely. Keep us safe. Brother Dean, keep committed to what you're doing, and we do thank you and ask God that he will continue to bless you. In Jesus' name, say amen.
Thank you, Sister Martin. And Nathan, thank you for gracing us with your presence. And I pray, God, that God will speed up whatever goal you have, that it would be even in a shorter time than you anticipate. God bless you. And I'll keep your name, because when I see whatever you achieve, it would now become public. So I would keep the name Nathan Holder from Belize whenever your dream comes true. So bless you, everybody. So write down those dreams, write down those goals. God is impressing on your heart what he wants you to achieve, and put feet to those goals in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you and have a good evening. Next week, we're going to be having a lady from Kona, Hawaii, and she's going to be talking about the deaf community in Barbados, and her findings, and how we can extend our ministry to them, how we can reach them with the gospel of Christ. It's an open session, so please invite your friends. There were about 12 of us in and out this evening. Please invite somebody to join our session next week. Have a great weekend and stay safe. God bless you.
Thanks,
everybody.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night. Same to you.
Thank you. Thank you.